Are we electing leaders or influencers? Clicks are not credentials. And this is important because we have midterms coming. We have governor's races coming. The noise is about to get a lot louder. The clips are about to get sharper. The outrage is about to get more theatrical. So before it does, let me ask you something simple. What would a We the People platform actually look like? Not a consultant's platform, not a donor's platform, not a viral platform. This show's brand, your brand, faith, family, and freedom. Not as aesthetics, as anchors. Faith that disciplines ego. Family that grounds responsibility. Freedom that requires character. This platform was built for you, not to elevate me, not to create a political runway, not to convert listeners into campaign inventory. It reflects lived experience. It reflects fathers trying to raise sons, mothers trying to protect daughters, small business owners signing the front of the paycheck, families balancing budgets, churches serving quietly, and communities solving problems long before the cameras arrive. That is real life. And real life doesn't compete well in the algorithm. That's the problem. We live in a moment where our values are competing for clicks. Faith competes with outrage. Family competes with spectacle. Freedom competes with whatever clip will travel the fastest. And when values are forced to compete in a click economy, something dangerous happens. A mirage is created. The loudest voice looks like the strongest leader. The most inflammatory comment looks like courage. The flashiest family policy rollout looks like moral authority. The biggest follower spike looks like momentum, but it's often just performance. There are candidates right now riding that mirage. Highly online, highly visible, highly polished. They understand how to manufacture momentum. They understand that if you say something sharp enough, even reckless, it will spread. And if it spreads, it feels like influence. And if it feels like influence, it feels like leadership. But it's not. It's attention. It's your attention. And attention is not the same thing as authority. And here's another question we should be brave enough to ask. What does it tell you when someone has multiplied their social media following but failed to raise $1 for their campaign? What does it tell you when the follower count explodes, the engagement looks massive, the clicks rack up views, but the fundraising reports are empty? Bots don't donate to campaigns. Algorithms don't write checks. Real people do. Real people who believe in you enough to sacrifice. Real people who believe in you enough to invest. Real people who trust you more than a like. If someone can grow a digital army but cannot inspire actual financial commitment, what does that say about the depth of their support? Is it real or is it a mirage? Clicks are easy. Commitment is costly. And leadership requires the latter. What kind of world are we living in when racist comments are rewarded with votes? Let's ask this plainly. If someone sat at your dinner table and spoke that way, would you reward them with friendship? If someone demeaned your neighbors or fellow citizens for applause, would you hand them influence over to your children? I'll answer for me. Hell no. You would distance yourself. So why would we reward that behavior at the ballot box? Why would we confuse provocation with principle? And what about the glossy, flashy family policies rolled out with all the patriotic graphics and dramatic music by people who have failed to build families of their own? This isn't about marital status. It's about credibility. If you have not demonstrated the ability to build and sustain what you're promising to protect, why should voters assume you understand it? Family policy is not theatrical. It's lived. It's sleepless nights. It's sacrifice. It's discipline. It's staying when it's hard. You don't learn that from a content calendar. You learn that from commitment. We the people know what our lives need because we are actually living them. We know what insurance costs. We know what it's like to coach Little League. We know what it means to struggle through homework at the kitchen table. We know what it feels like to keep a business afloat during uncertainty. We know what it takes to protect and provide. That lived experience matters more than a viral clip. And yet too many candidates campaign like politics is an extension of their content calendar. They post like influencers. They debate like commentators. They scale like media entrepreneurs. But where's the evidence of stewardship? Where's the proof of building something that required accountability? Where's the humility that comes from leading real people in real situations with real consequences? Instead, we get optics, follower spikes, engagement metrics, national interviews about national culture wars while asking to run a state that requires disciplined, granular, unglamorous leadership. Like I said, midterms are coming. Governor's races are coming, and how we show up at the ballot box will determine whether we reward performance or principle. Are we voting for our families, or are we financing someone else's brand? Are we choosing leaders who have built, sacrificed, and stewarded, Or are we choosing personalities who have mastered outrage economics? We the People was never built to chase clicks. It was built to anchor conviction, faith over fame, family over followers, freedom over fundraising cycles. This show reflects your lived experience because that experience is more valuable than digital applause. Imagine if candidates campaigned that way. Here's what I've built. Here's who I've served. Here's what I've sacrificed. Here's how I've governed at a smaller level and done it well. Instead, too many seem to be saying, look how viral I am. Look how fast I'm growing. Look how loud I can be. That's not leadership. That's branding. And branding cannot substitute for character. So when the ads roll in from those who can afford them, when the clips start trending, when the follower accounts flash across your feed, pause. Strip away the production. Ask yourself, would I reward this behavior in my personal life? Would I trust this person with my family? Have they demonstrated real support or just digital noise? Because in the end, it's not bots, not algorithms, not outrage, and not ring lights that should determine the future of our states. It's we the people, people who have lived, people who have built, people who have sacrificed, people who understand that leadership is not self-expression, it's stewardship. And stewardship cannot be faked.
Hey, we the people like Garcia, so that's no excuse.